Grace to you and peace. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Stephen Worth. I am the General Presbyter of the Presbyterian of Charlotte, and as you can see, I am walking to church this morning. And yes, it is a rainy day to be walking to church, but there's nothing better than walking to church in the morning, even on a rainy day. So here we are. So I want to start out by just giving a quick defense of my Pirates hat. Yesterday, Paul Skeens threw 11 strikeouts, and they still managed to lose 11-0. So I feel like they just needed a little extra support today. But today, as I'm walking to church, I felt like we should probably talk about something pretty important. So the Presbyterian of Charlotte is beautiful and special, like really special. And there are some things about us that are distinct. I don't know if you knew this, but we have more African-American Presbyterian churches than any other Presbyterian in the country. We have 27 congregations that are historically and majority black congregations. And that is really, really awesome. In his book, Black and Presbyterian, Gayrod Wilmore said that makes a lot of sense because Presbyterianism has in its DNA a resistance to civil tyranny and religious oppression of all kinds. And yet, he points out that it wasn't until 1858 that the First General Assembly allowed for the censure of slave owners. 1858. Now, if you are a student of Presbyterian history, you might recognize that date. That is the year that the United Presbyterian Church in North America was formed, when the three northern branches of the Associate Reformed Presbyterian Church, or the Old Covenanter Seceders, joined together. You may also recognize that the Fourth Synod, what we now call the ARP, refused to join, and it was for exactly that reason. And it was a couple years later, 1861, that the Northern Church and the Southern Church officially split over, again, exactly that reason. And so that is a part of our history and our legacy. And what it's meant is that in a lot of towns, like the one that I'm in right now, we have churches that will be very close geographically and very close in name that have completely different histories. Often it's something Presbyterian Church and something United Presbyterian Church. And typically the United Church is our historically African-American church. This morning I'm going to be going to Davidson Presbyterian Church, and it's right around the corner from Davidson College Presbyterian Church. And both are wonderful churches. But after 1861, the Northern Church and the Southern Church stayed separate until 1983. And it wasn't until 1989 that the Catawba Presbytery and the Mecklenburg Presbytery merged together to form the Charlotte Presbytery. And what that meant was that in that period of time between 1861 or 1858, depending on your timeline, and reunification in the 1980s, that our black churches were cut off from the rest of the Northern Church by hundreds of miles and were a completely separate denomination from their Presbyterian siblings, sometimes just around the corner. And in that period of time, it meant that a tradition was formed that was unique and beautiful and distinct and worth celebrating. And so this morning, as we are on our way to one of those churches, walking through the rain, I wanted to kind of take some time to point out how this community is acknowledging and dealing with their past as we move forward into the future. I realize that a short video is not enough space to talk about all of the beautiful and unique things about Black Presbyterian history. We can't really get into abolition or the civil rights movement, or even the fact that we only have Presbyterian World Mission because Black Presbyterians created Presbyterian World Mission as a way of expanding the gospel and the beauty of the Presbyterian tradition to communities that could be self-governing and create indigenous churches rather than churches that just sort of matched their colonial counterpoints. The statue is called With These Hands, and it pays tribute to the hands that literally built Davidson College. It's part of this Oak Row, and I'm sure, we'll talk more about Oak Row at some point, maybe when we talk to the folks at Davidson College Presbyterian Church. But the other day, I was taking a walk, and sitting right here on that thumb was a little bluebird. And it just sort of reminded me of that parable that Jesus tells about the kingdom of God being like a mustard seed that grows into this wild and unruly plant that people call a weed. And yet, birds make nests in its branches. And so here we have this acknowledgement of some really painful moments in our history. And yet, we have these beautiful traditions that have emerged, and beautiful culture that has emerged, and beautiful things that allow folks to find rest in the presence of Christ. So let's go learn a little bit more about Davidson Presbyterian Church. So I have Pastor Ryan here with me. Ryan, what makes Davidson special, and how do you think God is working here in the Davidson community?
What makes Davidson special are the people. The people are lovely. They welcome in everybody. They love you, and they will feed you, but also they will put you to work. We definitely will put you to work, but they will always be there for you no matter what. And that to me is the Spirit working. And the second question...
how do you see God moving here?
I see God moving us here in the Davidson neighborhood, of going out into community and asking the people what they would like to see, what they need, and how they would like to partner with us as well. So I think that is where the Spirit is moving us in this community of Davidson.
That is a really special church. We had a really beautiful morning of worship, and while we were in church, the sun came out and you could just kind of see it light up the glass. It was really amazing. Come visit this little church if you're ever up in Davidson. The preaching is deep, the prayers are deeper, the choir is wonderful, and everybody is just amazing. So come celebrate the glory of God.